Hello, Crystal Palace. Welcome to the Upper Norwood Library Hub's Library Live Lunch. This is a forum for sharing positive and inspirational local stories, useful information, allowing you maybe to find out about something in the community in more depth and keep us all connected during this time. So my guest today is Manou Bendon, who is the founder of Media Gang and also responsible for the amazing stenciling around Crystal Palace that is keeping us all 2 meters apart when we queue. So Manu, it's brilliant to have you. Thank you so much for joining me. Tell us a bit about Media Gang and where it came from.
Okay, well, I started Media Gang actually after the last recession, and I was looking for interesting ways that I could market a new business I'd started. And I came across the idea of reverse graffiti, which involves finding a dirty pavement and then jet washing a stencil into the pavement. I thought it was a really cool idea, very eco-friendly.
Very cool.
I decided to build a website dedicated to reverse graffiti. And before I had an opportunity to do it for myself, someone phoned me up saying, could I do some for them? And the phone just kept ringing. So after about a year of this, I thought, I may be onto something here, and looked into other kind of eco-friendly, non-traditional forms of outdoor advertising that I could add, and formed Media Gang.
Amazing. And the subtitle is actually guerrilla marketing, isn't it?
Yeah. So some of this is done in the middle of the night, and we drive around the cities spraying stencils. So it's got that guerrilla element to it. And other parts are kind of interested and make people look. And that is also another sort of interpretation of guerrilla marketing.
Okay, you've touched on this slightly, but what are the sort of the aims and ethos behind it then?
Yeah, I've always been passionate about the environment. So being able to offer services that have a low kind of carbon footprint is important, and all the kind of materials that we generally use, for instance, we might use chalk spray paint or the reverse graffiti where it's water, or we do a lot of projections. We're not really using that much in the way of sort of wastable products and materials. So it's yeah, we leave a low carbon footprint in most of the work we do.
Amazing. Must be quite interesting from a lifestyle point of view.
Yeah, my knowledge of dirty pavements is second to none, which I'm not sure is a great claim to fame, and probably wouldn't help my CV if I needed a new job. But it's been a lot of fun. We've done a lot of interesting jobs over the years, and worked with some great brands and organisations.
And it's often in the middle of the night, you said?
Mostly, yeah.
Wow.
So, I quite like that. I quite like seeing the cities at night. It's a nice time to, especially like in London, to drive around at night is a much nicer time, I find.
I'm sure, yeah. Well, thank you for joining us in the middle of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about some of the projects that you've been involved in
then. Well, my second job actually was for Greater Manchester Police, and we did a drink awareness campaign in the student parts of Manchester. So that was a good job for us, because a lot of people asked about the legality, and when we could say that we'd worked with the police, that kind of eased any worries. We've done some really big artworks. We painted a giant bicycle on a hill in Sheffield for the Tour de France when it started in Yorkshire. We've done some really big projections, quite a few projections on Parliament. So yeah, quite varied stuff, and for varied clients as well.
What sort of things were you doing for the police project in Manchester then? Was that stencils or projections, bit of both?
That was reverse graffiti stencils. Yeah.
Okay. I love
one
that
of the
idea.
benefits of the stencils is we can place them where you can't buy other kinds of advertising. So it's quite targeted. So we could go specifically into student areas and place the stencils there.
I suppose it would be hard for anybody to complain about it since what you're actually doing is cleaning the street.
Yeah, we've had some complaints, and we thought, well, do we put some dirt back on the ground? We just rub the ground with mud again. Sometimes people do think it's paint. It can be quite pronounced, but yeah, when people realise that we've just cleaned the pavement, they're generally more forgiving, and it does just fade naturally in time. So
Yeah. How long, I mean, I suppose this is a how long is a piece of string question, but how long does it take to fade?
we normally say about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. The streets must
Yeah.
be really quite dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in central London, it's yeah, good pavements in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good place to be doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
So tell us about the work you've been doing in Crystal Palace. So it's been gradual, sort of over the last couple of months. There've been lots of stencils around the triangle appeared, which is awesome.
Yeah. Um, I saw some footage of a nurse talking, and she had to remove herself from her family, and she had a little girl about the same age as mine, and I was just really moved by that. I thought this is amazing that the people in the NHS and the front line are risking their lives, something that they hadn't signed up for, but were still doing it. And I decided then that I wanted to spray some NHS thank you stencils. And I spoke to my paint supplier, and they said, we're going to send you some boxes of paint, no charge.
Oh, amazing.
And within a few days, I had a stack of paint. My stencil guys said the same. They just said, look, whatever you want, we'll make them. So we made some thank you stencils for the NHS, for care workers. And then we also decided to make the circles, which you've seen around Crystal Palace. So we were going out at night doing the NHS ones, and then Tomac, who does work for us, said that the market wanted some stencils. So we did they were the first people to have the circle stencils. And then we contacted Kate, who we had done previous jobs for, ASC19, and asked her if she could put it out to her network and see if anyone else wanted the stencils doing for their businesses.
You're being very modest here, because you've actually done a lot of work around Crystal Palace, and I think there's a bit more behind it than this, isn't there? So tell us about your aims in doing this.
Well, it was a bit of a depressing time, really, and to be able to go and put some colour on the streets and make these stencils playful, I thought was really important. So yeah, this is what we do. We do stencils on the ground, so it just felt right to get there and be able to help. And we had seen some of the kind of queues that were forming, and really felt that we could help direct which way the queue should go, and just make it a bit safer for people. And whilst we were painting some at the chemist in Annerley, I really realised that some people would be quite anxious about coming out, and by helping direct people where to stand would reduce that anxiety and make people feel a bit safer. And
definitely.
Yeah, so that was, it was pleasing to help people like that, but also to just try and give people a little bit of a lift.
Yeah, definitely has done both of those things. And I think, speaking for myself, I actually don't know what 2 meters is. We're supposed to be staying 2 meters apart, but actually I don't think I don't trust myself to judge that. I think I underestimate it. So actually having that outside the shops when you're queuing is amazing, because you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. You just stand where you're told by the stencils, and you know that it's right. It's amazing. It's definitely helped my anxiety. Yeah.
Good.
And I think there was another reason actually that you mentioned the other day about this, which was also letting people know the shops are open.
Yeah, so it does serve a dual purpose, because by seeing the stencils on the ground, it was the urban cellar. We were painting some there, and people stopped and said, "Oh, brilliant! You're opening." And it was nice to say yeah, they're due to open, and these are the times that you can come and buy your beer and wine. Yeah.
It's been lovely actually. It's been seeing the number of stencils increase over the couple of months has kind of been a positive indicator of Crystal Palace kind of waking up again, I think.
Yeah.
It's been really
Yeah, that's
nice.
right. It's yeah, I hadn't
Yeah.
thought of that. But
Yeah. And you saying about the paint, colours and stuff that you wanting to make something cheerful. Where did the stencils come from? Why those particular ones? Because we've got circles and footprints, I think.
yeah. So the footprints are actually a stencil that I had from a job we did for Barnsley College, and that was to help direct people from the train station to the college for open day. I keep all the stencils that we use. Um, so yeah, instantly thought I'll reuse those. And um, some parts of the pavement around Crystal Palace is quite narrow. So I wanted to use the footprints in places like that to try and keep people out of other people's way. So closer to the wall.
Oh,
Where we had
interesting.
more space, I've used the circles, and I really like the circles because you can stand inside it. It's really obvious what the what you should be doing,
Yeah.
and it's almost like a ring of safety that people can get in. And yeah, so yeah, it was between the type of pavement and how much space would dictate what kind of stencil I'd use.
Oh, that's really fascinating. I hadn't realised that, but that makes sense thinking about where they are. Um, I've seen some quite fun pictures on social media where you've got sort of a pigeon in one of the circles and the sort of queue either side of it, or a dog, or just yeah, various fun pictures on social media.
Yeah,
um, there's also obviously some ones that you've sent of like the Crystal Palace food market, because that was really early on, wasn't it? I think it was possibly even before lockdown or really close to.
it
Um,
was yeah just after I did that. Yeah, um, yeah, they were the first ones that we did
yeah.
market. Yeah,
Amazing. And you're also going to be doing some for the Paxton Centre, aren't you? Because Beth was talking to us on the live lunch last week, and I think she just decided to have quite an exciting stencil that you were maybe going to do for her.
that's right. Yeah, I don't know how much she said. Maybe I shouldn't say
I
anything. Just
think
let
she
it.
did tell us
She
actually.
did say, okay, yeah. So we're working on a stencil of Paxton, and yeah, in fact, just finished yesterday. So we'll start
Amazing.
cutting the stencil this week and ready for her opening.
It's,
Yeah,
it's actually Joseph Paxton's head, isn't it? Like
that's
the
right.
statue in the park.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's going to
yeah,
be awesome. So we
yeah.
can look out for that to tell us when the Paxton Centre's opening, because it's in another week or so, I think.
That's right.
So,
Yeah. So we'll get that ready for when Beth opens.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's brilliant. Um, just moving on slightly, one of the things that we were chatting about the other day that I thought was really interesting was just about more generally this time and sort of challenges and positives of this point. I wondered if you have anything you want to share on that.
Yeah. I mean, like everyone, we sort of had the worries about money and health and the challenges of being isolated at home. And but equally, there's been some positives. I think the clean air has been great. And at the beginning, when there was not much traffic about, it was really nice and just sort of resetting a bit. And um, but yeah, as I said, Mediagang came out of the last recession, and I think we will see a lot of innovation and new ideas come out of this. Um, it really, we don't like change naturally, but this does force us into changing and looking at things.
Yeah,
Um, so though it seems really bad right now, I think there will be some positives to come out for people,
yeah,
one way or another. Yeah,
yeah,
and we know our neighbours now, and we're helping each other, and
yeah.
that'll live on.
Do you know, actually, I think that's something maybe that your stenciling around Crystal Palace has helped with as well, actually, weirdly. I don't know why, maybe because it takes the anxiety out of it, as you were saying, when you're queuing. But I found I've talked to people in the queue way more than I normally would, or just, I don't know, jumped in when I've heard people commenting about things, and it's all been a lot more friendly than normal, actually.
Yeah,
So yeah, interesting,
that's good. Yeah,
interesting sideline.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Conversation starters.
yeah, definitely. Well, that add that too, actually. Yeah, very
Yeah.
much so. And I think, as you said, because it's cheerful and it really draws the eye, it's definitely a talking point. And I think lots of people are very grateful. So actually, I would also like to say at this point, because you're doing this for free, I think,
Yeah.
um, and I'm certainly very grateful for it. I'm sure the whole of Crystal Palace is. So thank you very much for all the work you've been doing to help us stay safe during this time. I think we're all very, very appreciative. And
Thank you.
for the colour,
Yeah.
as well as the lessening of anxiety. So thank you.
Pleasure. Yeah.
Um, do you think do you think this might change kind of where Media Gang goes in the future? Does it open up different avenues, or you're saying it's, you know, maybe a time of innovation? I don't know.
Yeah. Um, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure. We get a lot of clients coming to us with ideas, so it'll be interesting to see what people come up with, what challenges they give Media Gang in terms of like, we've had this idea. Do you think you can make this or do this? So that would be interesting. Um, I hope. I did feel that kind of outdoor marketing and advertising, when people could go back on the streets and be outside, they'd be thinking about this kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, but at the moment, it's still, yeah, early days. Just not sure kind of what the future will be like just yet. But
Yeah,
yeah, trying to
yeah.
remain positive. Yeah.
And actually, I guess around Crystal Palace, the stenciling you've been doing has been, it's not your usual clientele, is it really? Small businesses.
No, we often do things like film releases, maybe, or kind of national jobs, taking us into different cities across the country. Um, so yeah, but it's really great to be able to do stuff locally, and yeah, uh, and maybe that when the lockdown eases a bit more, there'll be kind of a little package we can do for small businesses to help them. Um, but at the moment, we've obviously not want to be travelling far from Crystal Palace, so
Mm.
yeah, just keeping it for Crystal Palace right now.
Yeah. And the something I was wondering when I saw the stencils that you're doing for thanking the NHS and the care workers and things. I loved the NHS with the Superman S. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Um, how do you do that? Is it literally you've got the stencil and you've got different colours of paint and
yeah.
just
So that was a multi-layered stencil. So I had to paint different layers with different colours, and a bit more time-consuming, that kind of stencil work. You have to let each layer dry before you paint the next one.
ah. Do you leave the stencil down while it dries then?
No, we find if you can let air go to it, that it dries faster. So um, yeah,
So
it's a lot of just hanging around really in between the paint drying.
in the middle of the
Yeah,
night.
in the middle of the night. Yeah,
Yeah. I think, am I right in remembering that you did one round Crystal Palace for the festival last year? Was that you guys?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, we've done a few for the festival, a few for the film festival as well, Crystal Palace Film Festival, and we do a pop-up cinema each year as well in Cooper's Yard.
Ah,
Um, yeah,
cool.
it's. I was lucky to meet Noreen early on, who introduced me to a lot of people,
Mm,
and gave me the work with Crystal Palace Festival.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's great. We'll be able to, we'll notice you guys this time.
yeah,
It all kind of links up now.
yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, cool. So, I guess the last main question I have for you really is how can people find out more or get in touch with you about either the current stuff you're doing around Crystal Palace or other stuff for the future?
Well, people can see our work on Instagram. That's Media Gang UK. And if people want to get in touch, they could get in touch through Instagram or on our website, which is mediagang.co.uk. And yeah, happy to talk to anyone who's got an idea or a project that they're interested in realising.
Cool. Well, I have to say, I never heard the terms guerrilla marketing or reverse graffiti before. So
Yeah.
you definitely do learn something new every day. So awesome. So brilliant. Thank you so much for coming to have a chat with us. I'm
Thanks.
so glad to meet, even not quite in person, but meet the person behind all the amazing stenciling around Crystal Palace. And as I said, I think we're all very, very grateful for it. It most certainly has cheered up my day and relieved a lot of anxiety. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
That's a pleasure. So just sidelining quickly into the rest of the live stream program, as you all know, I'm sure by now, we have a really big live stream program at the Upper Norwood Library Hub. We've tried to put everything online as much as possible, so we have as many of our usual activities and events online as we possibly can while the venue is shut, plus some new extra ones. So we have morning mindfulness and yoga, we have live singing classes, we have live music on Fridays, cross stitch with Alice, and all sorts of things, children's stories, lots of variety. Please do check it out. We hope it will be entertaining for you, and it supports us if you're getting involved. We also do have some slots available for presenters. So if you have an idea of something you'd like to do live on Facebook and share with people, we have some slots available, so we are looking for people to do that. So please get in touch with us at info@unlt.org. So my guest tomorrow is going to be Casper Kennedale on the live lunch, who runs Clear Community Web, which some of you may have come across, may have used. He helps particularly older and vulnerable people get onto the internet and do things like how to use Zoom, so that you can talk to your families, how to do online shopping. So if that is of interest for you or anybody you know, please do tune in and have a listen to him tomorrow. I think he's got some other projects in the pipeline as well that he wants to share. I think that's it from me for today. So just as something a little bit unusual, we thought we'd leave you with a lovely video by Manou's company Media Gang, showing some of the really amazing projects they've been doing recently. So we're going to leave you with that. In the meantime, stay safe everybody, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
I'll tell you a tale that's been recently written of a powerful army so great it saved Britain. They didn't have bombs and they didn't have planes. They fought with their hearts and they fought with their brains. They didn't have bullets, armed just with a mask. We sent them to war with one simple task: to show us the way, to lead and inspire us, to protect us from harm and fight off the virus. It couldn't be stopped by our bulletproof vests. An invisible enemy invaded our chests. So we called on our weapon, our soldiers in blue. All doctors, all nurses, your country needs you. We clapped on our streets, hearts bursting with pride as they went off to war while we stayed inside. They struggled at first as they searched for supplies, but they stared down the virus in the whites of its eyes. They leapt from the trenches and didn't think twice. Some never came back, the ultimate price. So tired, so weary, yet still they fought on, as the virus was beaten and the battle was won. The many of us owe so much to so few. The brave and the bold, our heroes in blue. So let's line the streets and remember our debt. We love you, our heroes, lest we forget.